Welcome back to Love and Law, episode 10. Charles and Tessie. And to this, I guess this series, we're going to be doing a series. Probably about 4 episodes. It's going to be discussing how we survived it, how we managed everything going through it, how we came out after it and thrived, and then how we shared and gave back. So it'll be a 4-part series. But today we'll be discussing the surviving.
Survival. Yeah, how you survive through the things. If we were to have this conversation, because originally, I think a lot of people come up to us and ask us questions and they think that we just jump through to current tense. We're clearly at a spot where we're thriving.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go back a couple go back a couple steps and have some conversations about getting through the things, the survival part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, even when we're talking to our kids, this is not the situation that we're in now with our family and our business. We didn't wake up and get here. It was a whole journey.
Kind of did wake up and get here.
You do? Oh, is that what you think?
Yeah.
How so? Please tell.
What do you want to do today?
Yeah, that's how we got married. But it started from that conversation. Oh, we should get married today. I think that's a good idea.
So we woke up and got here.
But after we made that decision, there became another series of things that we had to go through. There was a lot of things that we had to survive that even got us to the place where we met each other, and things we had to survive and get through before we could manage it, thrive, and then share. So in talking about the survival part, if you had to narrow it down, because everybody's just going through life, and life really truly be lifing. But let's just say 2 things that you feel like you had to survive and come out on top of, that you came out on top of.
I mean, we've kind of had a lot of the conversation about childhood. The I guess the next surviving was going to college and managing and maneuver through the personalities, the independence, the being a first time parent, and just the challenges of I don't consider a strong academic student.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding that there were things that I needed to address, just for instance, ADD,
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing that, well, yeah, you're struggling with studying and getting your thoughts down on the paper because of this. So surviving that and making the adjustments and pivoting from that to turning that into thriving now that I was able to um, address that issue and come up with a resolution from it.
So I think that a lot of people have a hard time with, excuse me, coming to terms with the thought that they have any type of, I don't want to call it a deficiency, but that they have anything other than perfection within themselves. So when you say, okay, I had to come to the realization that I had ADD, what made you think you had ADD?
Well, I had heard it my whole life. It wasn't, but I think parents kind of use that term loosely, like, oh, he got that ADD, he can't sit still. He just needs a little bit more discipline and a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more focus, or, he needs his butt whooped, those kind of things. What made me initially come to it was I had another close friend that kind of, we had the conversation and he expressed it to me like, you might want to go see what they say. And that kind of
But how
is
old were you when you did that?
I was in my 20s.
So this is where you were at Purdue.
No, I was at Purdue and didn't even know. I was just struggling, running my head into the wall, writing papers, wondering why. I knew all the information, but the way that I regurgitated it back
Mm-hmm.
wasn't on topic, and it was friends that would help me with papers like, you are all over the place.
Oh, yes, you do be.
But then I had, some of those study groups that were like, all the information. I don't understand how you did horribly on the test when you know this. And then they would read my paper and they're like, what in the hell is this that you put down? I'm like, it's everything we talked about.
So how old were you when you actually went to a therapist and got diagnosed with ADD?
Maybe 24, 3, somewhere around there. 24, 25. Second go round at college.
Okay, so in the second go round in college, for those of you who don't know, when we met, you were considering going back to school to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And so you had already graduated from Purdue and you were going to attend Kennesaw for nursing. And in that transition, because I think I went with you when you registered and you
Mm-hmm.
got your ID and all that. And so you went and got tested, but I think you had already been tested before you met me,
I did.
though.
I think the process had already started.
Hmm.
It was just one of those things. Okay, I knew that I needed to. I was in a different place, um, just as far as understanding that the GPA is going to make a difference, and I need to make sure that the things that I struggled with, I need to figure out a way to not struggle with them. I need to come up with a plan.
But how did you get through high school and college and all of that with ADD? How did you survive graduating high school, college, and all of that, struggling with the attention? And Purdue is not it's not a chump school.
It was the idea of just keep swimming, just keep swimming, and that was what I had in it. Because I mean, I got accepted as a vet major,
Hmm.
and going in, all the science and the math was easy. Everything else was hard. So
Okay, so fast forward, we're done with school. You're married, and now you are in a new marriage, blended family. It's just you and your sister, and you have a 3-year-old when we meet,
mhm.
and we get married, and it's like, whoa. Now you are a stepfather to 5 more children. You're married for the first time to me, someone who's 8 years older, divorced, have 5 children. And you come into
And
that
that is amazing.
relationship. Listen, like all shits and giggles aside, I'm just saying we got married and looking back on that now, I was thinking, and I said this to you then, you're crazy. You're crazy, we're crazy, this is crazy. And for you to be 25 and I was 33.
Mhm.
But I had lived my life as a mom forever. Like I had been a mom for years of a big family, and I come from a big family. Like my mom is the oldest of 10, my dad's in the middle of, 10
Mhm.
kids, and I have 5 sisters and 5 brothers, and I have 5 kids. Like I've always been in big families.
Mhm.
It's just you and your sister, and you have a 3-year-old.
But
And
we
then you
but
come into my big,
but I
wild,
think I
crazy
came from a
family.
big family. My mother and father both had more than 6 siblings.
Hmm.
So it was you go home for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I think currently my grandmother has over 60 something grandchildren or something like that. It
This is
was
true, but it's different to live it in your house to go visit for Christmas and Thanksgiving once or
in
twice.
the whole summer that we were there. So when it was Thanksgiving and Christmas, when Christmas came, we would drive from Indiana, and it felt like I was there for the whole month of December. When the summers came, and my parents split, you spent the whole summer in New York. So
How was it
between
to not vacation? You're still talking about the whole summer, the
it,
whole Christmas.
it didn't feel like a
It
vacation.
didn't, okay, but it was. Summer is just the summer.
Mm,
How did it feel to live it every day 365? I'm not talking
no
about,
different than the vacation that you're referring to.
it didn't feel different to be in a house with 5 kids.
No, it was just managing the personalities. But at the end of the day, no, it was the same of going to those family events that you were there for months, and
Hmm.
you had cousins that this one is the whiny one, this is the slick one, this is the one that you two gel, you're on the same page, this is the uncle that you can relate to,
But
this is
now
the
you're a step parent to them. You're not responsible for your cousins and your uncles.
you're not, but I mean it didn't feel that different. It was just the biggest transition was just managing the personalities.
You're
You had
so laid back. So I think it was easy. It is easy for you because of your personality. You're very, very laid back.
and I guess Willis was super laid back, so it didn't. He wasn't hard to do. And then the girls, I learned earlier on, I'm a lot more tolerable of the females than the males, and it was only one male in the house. Um, Willis was there for a short period of time. Sherrod was there a little bit longer,
Hmm.
and we had our bumps. We
Hmm.
definitely had our bumps. Came back from that, but when it came to, I feel like the girls were there the longest, and what I've learned about myself is I'm more tolerable of the daughters than the sons.
Well, I don't know if
I
tolerable
know
is the right
tolerable
word, but I understand your point. You're just a lot easier, a little softer on the girls
because
because you are.
yeah. I mean, girls, I put them in a different spot. You got to talk to them, coddle them a little bit different. The sons, the world's not going to do that, and so
And see, that's a great segue into me. For me, the survival and what I felt like I had to survive was the exact opposite of your opinion. Of you have to coddle the girls and treat them a little differently. Because for me, as a girl, no one coddled me, and I don't want to coddle my daughters. And it's interesting because I'm more interested. I've always been more focused on blending them both. I don't have a problem with my son having a baby doll because I feel like he needs to. I'm not going to give him a baby doll, but Sherrod and Willis played with their sisters' dolls and it wasn't an issue. But if a boy is playing with a kitchen set and so on and so forth and dolls, then, oh, you're soft, you're this, you're that. But there's no parenting and life skills to taught to little boys. But girls, they're like 3 and 4 years old. And Tegan's 2, and her birthday, people are giving her baby dolls of babies with diapers. And I'm like, she's in a diaper, and you're already teaching her it's her job to care for someone else
so
and be. But
question.
let me finish this thought. If you are a little girl, you're expected to learn how to parent early, learn how to housekeep, learn how to cook, and those are the gender roles and cooking things that people give little girls. Little boys get fire trucks and cars and engineering, and boys get careers, and girls get domestication toys and makeup and pumps and shoes and be pretty and dress up clothes. And so for my daughters, part of the survival because of how I was raised was to make sure that Ayana expressed an interest in engineering and I supported that and poured into tinkering with Legos and machines and so on and so forth. And she followed your footsteps and went to Purdue. Kiana wanted to be a vet, love animals, so on and so forth. And Tasia was kind of more of a free spirit. Anicia really liked a lot of the creative kind of things, but making sure that their interests were supported, not just coddle you. Because for me, as a female, it's very important that they understood part of that survival was that you can be whatever it is you want to be, anything you want to be, except dependent on someone else. And so therefore they had to really lean into learning how to take care of themselves, problem solving, survival skills, all of that. There's no coddling for me of the females. As a black woman, they'll find themselves being the most vulnerable person on the planet as a black female. So there was no time for me to coddle them. I'm going to lean into you. I have very high expectations of you, but to survive, those girls needed to know how to problem solve, because not if, but when life throws you a curveball, you have to know how to shake it off, step left, and move forward, or you will find yourself sitting and complaining, and life is passing you by. So, girls and boys the same, but I didn't expect less of the girls and coddle them more. You do, because they're girls and you give them a pass. I'm not giving you a pass because life won't. Let's go.
So what would you say in the difference of, for example, if there is a teaching lesson or a situation where you're trying to explain to them something that is wrong, and I think you usually take the opportunity to have a conversation with them and explain.
hmm
What is the difference in that and coddling? Is there a difference?
To me, it is, because coddling, when you say I coddle them, it's me hugging you and wiping your tears and, oh, it's okay. And, come, it's okay. And I can talk you through the moment of your breakdown. You're crying, let me coddle you and do all of that. But what I'm saying, in addition, if now again, my kids will tell you right, wrong, and different. I'm gonna ride with them. I'm gonna tell you you're wrong, but I got your back. The teaching part is outside of a meltdown. You only coddle somebody when they're wrong. I'm saying I'm teaching you how to survive, and there's no crying moment right now. Coddling, Charles had his meltdown yesterday when you guys went to the barbershop. And in that moment, I'm going to talk him through it, cuddle him and support him emotionally and give him some hugs. But before that moment and after that moment, including my conversations with him today, are the teaching moments. Coddling for me
Mm-hmm.
is what I do in a moment of a meltdown.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching is what I do every day for them. And it's very different to me. Me teaching Charles what he had to do this morning when we got up and how he can get his phone that he was asking for,
Mm-hmm.
there was no coddling needed. There was no crying, no tears. But I'm going to take the opportunity to teach the girls more about how to survive. It's the same thing, this reboot that we're doing on December 6th. A lot of people say, my divorce is over. I'm uncoupled. I broke up. What do I need to do next? This is what I'm talking about. This teaching moment for the workshop that we're going to have is how to be prepared. Everybody waits to January 1st, December 31st to start making these declarations of what they're going to do in the new year. Start preparing now. Why are you waiting for January to start getting your stuff together? It's the training in the moment that helps you survive whatever's to come. You know, you hear people say all the time, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. It's that thought process that helps you survive when things happen, because they will. Because they will. And it's just a mind frame of mine from childhood that I always had to be in survival mode to make sure that I'm ready if something happens. What if, what if, what if? Until you get to the point that you're out of the crisis, and now I've managed it, and now we went from survival to managing it, which is not a hot fire that we're putting out, to transitioning from management then to thriving. And when you're in that thriving phase, we are where we are now, where we're really focused on giving back. But you have to survive this stuff, then be able to manage it day to day without the fires. Then you can thrive. And then you, in my opinion, should share and give back. Because other people are just at the beginning phase of this survival mode. And that's the thing, Tessie, Charles, how did you survive this? And look, I will be the first to say I have imposter syndrome full time, full swing. Huge, huge, huge. I feel like a lot of times it's hard to fathom that we are where we are. But I understand it wasn't overnight, and there was a lot of time and sacrifice put into this. But again, growing up in the system and the welfare and the projects and poor and food stamps and all of that, to be here, it sometimes feel like, whoa, you could lose it any moment now. Whoa, like what if I'm not as smart as I think I am? What if I don't really have it figured out? I still have that imposter syndrome a lot. I'm figuring out my stuff every day like everybody else. You know that. You know it more than anybody because I'm always talking to you about it. So the survival it changes with the placement. It's a different set of survival skills. It's a different set of management. It's a different set of thriving. For instance, what you asked me was how do you survive? People keep asking me, how did you survive law school? How I survived law school is making some very tough decisions, like I'm not having no fucking dressers. It's very easy. Y'all do the laundry, put it in the totes, and keep it moving. Frozen dinners, I'm cooking on Sunday for the whole fucking month. And this is how I survive my day to day. Pick them up here, go do this. How do I survive the hot moment right now, in the moment right now, to get through 3 years of law school, 5 kids, and a husband that I see for an hour a day? How do I do that? I set all the school clothes out a week at a time. This is true. I set all the school clothes out a week at a time and get everybody's school clothes out on Sunday for the whole week. My girls wear braids that I didn't have to do, so I don't have to do their hair but every 2 or 3 weeks or once a month or whatever. And I created a schedule, and I simplified my life in such a way that I could focus. I dropped everybody off at school, went to school. I literally had canned soup, a case of canned soup, a case of Little Debbie snack cakes, and bottles of water. And I had the same fucking lunch every day. I didn't go hang out with friends and everything. This is how I survived law school with 5 kids and still graduated on time with high honors. This is how I survived that. This is how I did that. There were times when we sold that house and my husband was here in Georgia and we had air mattresses and on the floor. When I tell you I lived such a minimal life my last year of law school, because he was here sitting up there and I still had kids that had to go to school there. And this is just what we did for entertainment. We were at the library because I wasn't going to buy this and this. How did I survive the day to day? Not go home and apply for a job I wish I had. How do I survive? When we left, you don't even have to fish for how we survive. How did we survive when I quit Luzmina? How did we survive when I quit Luzmina and we opened the firm together ourselves? We don't have to fish for it. How the fuck did we survive that? We had one car. We were meeting. This is how did we survive? You can roll this and I can answer and we can have a conversation. How did we survive leaving our 9 to 5s? You were working. I'm not sure which of the jobs that you were at. You were working at Verizon, and I was working for this law firm for like 2 months. And how we got through that moment with one car, because the car had got repoed, and so we were truly in survival mode, and we were concerned about, bless you, if we were going to lose the house. And so we called the bank and we worked out something that they allowed us. This was this recession when the house bubble popped and everybody was having all these issues with their mortgage. We were not immune from that. And remember, we had to call the mortgage company and they put us
part of the mortgage to the end of the
month. And
end of the year, they put the 2 payments or something on the back end.
And we had the one car and you were at Verizon. And when we decided to open the firm,
we were splitting cars. Some days you would drop me off to work because you had court. Sometimes I think even once or twice I got a ride home. Then we had the other car that wasn't all the way reliable that I would drive to work.
But when you were at Verizon, that was like 45 minutes one way. And you had to be to work what time? At 3? I think you worked like 3 to 11 or something like that. And I would drive you to work so that I could have the car. Just so I could have the car from the 3 to 11 and
come back and get me.
Take my daughter to soccer practice, but if I needed to meet a client and during the day before you went to work, if I had court, you would go to work with me, have your clothes in the trunk, and it was just sharing, balancing 6 kids, going to court during the morning, and then dropping you off 45 minutes one way so you could work your 3 to 11. So I could have the car just so I could take the daughter to soccer practice, get her home, do the dinner, do the homework, do the thing, everybody settle, and then go back at 11 o'clock to pick you up 45 minutes one way. That's that survival stuff that you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get from this hump to that hump. And it was a lot of spaghetti meals, pork and beans, hot dog meals, like low budget meals, super low budget meals to save money so that we could buy another car. And even we saved up the money. And where did you buy the car from?
We got it from the auction.
And I'm just saying that was the survival. Like that's how we survived leaving our 9 to 5. It was grind mode. It was everything, like Christmas.
But it didn't even feel like survival mode.
Because it was me and you doing it together, but it really was.
When you say survival mode, I guess I struggle with that. It was like, you fucking figure it out. I don't, that's not the, I guess that's not the answer that you wanted, but it didn't feel like survival. It was like, okay, how are we going to do this? We got one car. I need you to drop me off and then we'll make it happen this way. I might be able to get a ride home from a coworker and so on and so forth. It didn't feel like survive. It felt
but what
like
I'm saying, for a lot of people in that situation, managing 6 kids, and we have one car and one job, which was yours, and I had left my job, and we're trying to figure out how to grow a firm or build a firm. A lot of people would cave and Tessie, just go get another job somewhere else. Charles, we could have got a divorce. Your life would have been easier to not be with me. What, 5 kids? It would have been easier for you to, hell, take off. Like, so that's why I'm saying it's survival, because it was a tough time for 2 people that were not committed to making it through. You're like, well, it was kind of easy because, well, we figured out a plan and we stuck to it regardless if it was hard or not. But it is how we survived a car repo, the house in foreclosure. I left my job. You're in your job until you decide to leave your job, and we're going to do this together and move forward. And in the middle, when we were doing that, we didn't move forward with officially opening the firm until you decided to leave Verizon, and then we did it together. But that 6 months or whatever in between. It was November. From November to March is when we did that. And then March, you left and we officially opened the business in March. But it was a very rough patch when I decided to leave the Fulton County District Attorney's Office until we opened the firm. And that survival mode of how we got through that together is a lot when I look back on it. Then it was just going through it, and we're committed to seeing it through.
Seems so much easier.
It
Ooh,
is.
seems so much easier then.
It is. So I'm just saying, a lot of times, there's survival. When you're in the fire, you can't really see it. But you have to be committed to making it through. You have to be committed to making it through. But what would be your biggest advice that you took away from now that you look back on it to pay it forward to help somebody else that's in the middle of the survival? I want to leave this job, or I'm stressed with these kids, and because everything is about how to get through. Even going through law school with 5 kids. My ex-husband, as you know, my ex-husband and I were both in law school together with 5 kids. It was something as simple as getting everybody's school clothes out for the week on Sunday, cooking for 2 weeks at a time and putting it in freezer bags. There were times where dinner was ravioli and a bag salad. So whatever it needed to be, and letting the little stuff be little, keeping the simple stuff simple was how I was able to do that moving forward. But what would be your advice on how to survive?
To come up with a plan. Just come up with a plan, but also understand that during those 6 months, those 3 months, plans change. So you may have to tweak it. Even though you come up with this plan, that doesn't mean I'm going to stay in this box. It makes me think of our strategy meetings. You have one, and yes, the strategy that I have on the first, something may come up, and the strategy now has to pivot just a little bit. The end goal is still the same, but I have to be open to changing and pivoting at times to still make sure that that final destination that I'm trying to get to, I end up there. So as long as we have a plan, understand that the plan may change, but the goal is still the same.
My biggest advice going forward is truly be open to keeping things simple. And I'm the first person to complicate everything. And I look for perfection in everything. So keeping the simple stuff simple, and trying to make sure your mindset is ready for it, because whether it's entrepreneurship, parenting, marriage, whatever, there are going to be days and times that are difficult. It's part of that human journey, but you have to focus on the journey and not the sprint. Focus on the desired outcome and not today, because today is a tough day, but don't overcomplicate it. It's just the day. We had a fight today. It doesn't mean the whole relationship is over. It doesn't mean quit the job. It doesn't mean throw out the kid. It just means today is a tough day. You can simplify it down even more. It's not even the whole day. If I was to have a tough moment right now, it's what, 12 o'clock? It's a rough afternoon. Don't even throw away the whole day. It was a rough afternoon. There are days that I have a tough day at work, and I look forward to coming home and hanging out with you at night, which is why we be up so late at night. Like, ooh, today was tough, and we're up to 2 o'clock in the morning watching TV. I'll pour me a glass of wine, we eating popcorn and watching something on TV to decompress and relax, because it was a tough day. But it doesn't mean it's going to be a tough night. And so, if to the best that you can, simplify it and have a rough morning but a great afternoon, or a rough afternoon but have a great night. Have a rough day but enjoy the rest of the week, and try to draw lines in the rough part as soon as possible, but keep the simple things simple
But I
and
think
move forward.
just to piggyback off of that, the opportunities that are presented to you, whether you say God, the universe, I know people change those, use those up interchangeably. Even though you're in survival mode when those opportunities come, when they come here, they're being presented to you because you're ready for them. Even though you may not feel that you're ready for them, they wouldn't have been put. The universe, God, doesn't put those situations in front of you if there wasn't a option for you to be successful. So look at it as a gift. I'm in this survival mode, whether it's a teaching moment, whether it's the opportunity for me to thrive and do better. That situation was presented here for a higher purpose, for a better reason. So it's just a stepping stone. So as long as you look at that opportunity, you look at that survival mode, or that again, that opportunity as a positive thing, you're going to get something out of it and you'll make it through. And I think that at the end of the day, as long as you look at each situation that way, it's not survival mode. It's just the opportunity for us to
Improve.
to fly, spread our wings and fly, and turn this into something great, into something beautiful. So it's how you're looking at the situation. You're looking at it, I'm just trying to survive and I don't know how I'm going to make it. Well, then that's
Change
what
your
you're going to
mindset.
present. That's what it's going to come out to be. But if you look
Mhm.
at it as, man, this is an opportunity for me to get the job or to start the business or do the thing that I wanted to, that's exactly what it's going to be.
So the next episode, again, this is a 4-part series where we talk about how we move from survival to managing, how to manage once we're out of survival mode, how to manage the day to day, and then transition into how to thrive in whatever decisions you are or where you are, and finding that opportunity to thrive and move forward. And then lastly, but certainly not least, is giving back and how to pay it forward. So in our next episode, we're going to talk about how we got out of survival mode, which is what we just talked about, but then moved into how to manage your day to day so that you get things more under control and steady and focus on your mindset to help you settle yourself and settle your circumstances. Which brings us to the next thing. We're going to actually have a workshop on this live. We're going to have a workshop called The Reboot. And a lot of people ask us questions that their divorce is over. Divorce is over, the breakup is over, and they have uncoupled. And there's always a lot of questions about what to do next. Okay, I'm divorced now. What do I do next? Because I am divorced and he is we met, after he broke off his engagement with his fiance and the mother of his daughter. And what did you do next? So what comes next is what we're going to be hosting a reboot on what to do next. And I think a lot of people wait for the end of the year, wait for the beginning of the year for New Year's resolutions. And my thought is that you always need to be prepared to move forward. And why wait now? Well, I mean, why wait until January to get your stuff together? People always tell me to wait until Kiana, which was my youngest child, till she started kindergarten to start law school. And I thought it then and I thought it now. The opportunity is here now. I need to prepare now. So it's the same thing. I'm not waiting to January to get ready for 2026. Get ready now so when January 1st hits, you're already prepared. So this is what you need to do going forward. So episode 12, I believe, is going to be about how to manage after survival. We're going to be doing a workshop called The Reboot live in Atlanta on how to move forward after a divorce or breakup or after you uncouple or major transitions, even after a significant death, but how you move forward in your life in a way that positions you to thrive. So continue to like, follow, subscribe, even if you can't go to the Reboot Workshop live, and we'll have information on our website. But, we'd love to share with you in person or continue to follow, like, subscribe, share the podcast, or follow us on social media. Anything?
No, thank you. Like, subscribe, and we'll be, I guess, telling our part of how we managed through all of this, tying all those things in together. Hey, fellas, it's Charles again with TDE, Family Law and Divorce Attorneys. I just wanted to give you a little bit of information, tell you what we're here to do, but I understand that you're probably looking at this because you're going through some type of situation that we can assist you with, whether it's your baby mom, whether it's your soon-to-be ex-wife, whether it may be just a parenting thing that you're going to help another family member without. It's trying, it's stressful. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so nothing's going to happen quickly. The other thing that I want to point out to you is we're here as a resource. Whether you watch our social media ads, whether you tune into our podcast, you can like and subscribe, but hopefully from watching this, there's going to be more information that you can get. One way that you can get one of those resources is just by calling our office. We have people that are there to answer the phones, and they may be able to point you in the right direction. I know that you may have friends or buddies that have went through the court system and you're like, I'm absolutely against child support, but your child may be used as a pawn, or maybe your kindness is being taken as hostage. I'm here to tell you that me and our group of attorneys with a greatly skilled team are here to help you. Look us up on the website, and then from there you can schedule a call. Yes, sometimes these things can be expensive, but anything that you feel is worth it, you always find a way. And if you find your way to our law firm, we are here to help you through it.